Gentleman from California.
At this time, Mr. Speaker, I would like to yield 5 minutes to the gentleman from Nebraska, Mr. Ashford, who had the tenacity to stick it through and bring this legislation finally in its form to the floor.
Thank you very much. Nebraska is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Ranking Member Takano. Thank you, Chairman Rowe, and certainly Chairman Miller, and Mr. Speaker, for bringing this important bill up for a vote today. The H.R. 5099, the Chip In for Veterans Act, was introduced by myself and others in the House and by my good friend and colleague, Senator Deb Fischer, in the United States Senate. There is a bill in the Senate waiting action as we speak. As has been suggested and mentioned, this bill allows for the Department of Veterans Affairs to enter into donation agreements with community groups in order to complete VA construction projects. This is a new and innovative idea, not necessarily brought to this body by myself, but by so many other people, as has been mentioned, that have worked on this bill for literally 2 years. I appreciate the comments of my good friend, Congressman Fortenberry from Lincoln, Nebraska, for his comments and his ability to hold me back from time to time as we proceeded down this course. No one understands, and I think when we started out with this process, what I was focused on was the idea that in our own communities, it's veterans who can make those tough decisions as to what their needs are. Nobody better than our veterans understand those needs. And what this bill will allow us to do is to combine community donors with veterans to actually involve themselves together in the development of these projects. Certainly in Omaha, in my community, in Iowa and Nebraska area, we have had a need for such a renovated facility for many, many years. My bill, I believe, empowers our veterans. It puts an end to the decades-long wait for hundreds of thousands of veterans in my area who have been promised new facilities. And I think as clearly as Congressman Fortenberry mentioned and Ranking Member Takano and Chairman Rowe, that this really does open up opportunities for VA facilities across the entire country and starts the course moving forward. Let me just conclude by thanking so many of you. I would be here much longer than 5 minutes if I was going to name everyone. But certainly I appreciate my co-sponsors, Congressman Wall from Minnesota, Congressman Fortenberry, Congressman Smith from Nebraska, Congressman Dave Young from across the river in Iowa. And I want to thank Chairman Miller, who gave me the opportunity to discuss, even on weekends, some of the positive elements of what we were trying to do in Nebraska. And lastly, thanks to the staff. Certainly my staff leader on this bill, Denise Fleming. I'm going to be in the House only a few more weeks, but I can't say that she's actually welcoming me leaving, but she certainly has been a tenacious advocate and has worked very, very hard. There have been other staff members as well, and certainly they have all added a tremendous amount to this bill. Christine Hill and Grace Roden, most particularly. Moving this bill ensures that Senator Fischer's bill, which is now in the Senate, can move in the Senate and become law, so we can begin this project now. My friends in Omaha, in Nebraska, and Iowa are ready to donate what is necessary to unleash, as Senator Fortenberry suggests, the money that has already been appropriated for our Omaha facility. Lastly, I would like to thank the Secretary of the Veterans Administration, Robert McDonald. Bob McDonald, and I met Bob McDonald 2 years ago, about just now, when I was coming into Congress. And I suggested to him that we needed something to be done in Omaha, and suggested also that I thought that our donor community and our veterans community would work together on innovative public-private partnership to enable this, some sort of new way, some sort of center of excellence to develop. Certainly Secretary McDonald and his team have been great, have been so incredibly helpful in moving this along. And lastly, again, I want to thank my colleague and friend from our years together in the unicameral legislature in Nebraska, Deb Fischer,